Hold on. That reminds me. I haven't done bruh picks in a while. For guys you don't know, for those you don't know, bruh picks are usually the worst plays of the game. Or my bruh pick for today was that Timberwolves game with 5 minutes left.
Oh,
Rudy Gobert calling for the ball.
yeah.
Julius Randle handling the ball. Rudy had a
Jay.
guard, sealed the guard on him under the basket.
Jay, look at me. Look at me. This is what Julius did to him. He waved him off like that.
Waved him off. Gobert gets a 3-second call, turnover
Yeah.
within the close game with 5 minutes left.
Bruh.
There's a lot of things happening there. There's a lot of things happening there. Because I've listened to some people's breakdown of that situation.
And then part two. Tell part two, though. There's a part two to it.
Oh, part two. It's part two.
Yeah, man. Don't forget part two. Part two
This
might be
is
better
so
than
much
part
in-
one.
My bad. I get the part two of that was after the game.
End of the game.
Yeah, close to the end of the game. Gobert's in the post again. And then Julius just tosses him. He just throws like a heater at him.
Fires the ball at him. Fires the ball at him.
Here's the ball at him. Purposely made that joint extremely hard to catch and low for a simple man, and the ball goes out of bounds. He was obviously pissed. Woo. Woo.
And it was that moment that I got on Twitter because Wolves fans were going berserk over that. And all I typed was, he's your problem now. All I typed, he's your problem now.
Oh, man. And then Anthony Edwards is blocking at Gobert.
Yeah, I thought that was displaced.
Well, there's blame to be fair, there is blame to go all around.
True.
For one, from what I've heard, the play was for Julius Randle ISO and to be cleared out. But I also can see how if I have a smaller guard on me and I'm
you got to make the right play. You have to make the right play.
You pass the ball to Gobert.
But Wolves fans were like, there are two camps. Because most Wolves fans, well, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of Wolves fans thought Rudy's not going to catch the ball anyway.
And that's the other part of it. That's the other part of it. The other part of it is it's a 5-point, it's a close game with 5 minutes left. Do I want Rudy Gobert having the ball and blowing a layup? It's the other part of it.
You know what, though? At the end of the day, for me, it was whatever drama took place, it was no shocker that Julius was involved in it. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. I'm saying, as a Knicks fans will zero in on the Julius part because of our experience, but I'm looking at everything. The Julius part, the Gobert part. There's been talks about how Gobert and Donovan Mitchell didn't get along because Gobert was asking for the ball a lot, and Donovan Mitchell was like, "I don't trust you."
I mean, we get it. It's been well chronicled that Gobert is a goofball, man, and not very many people like him. But when it comes to I don't know if he's one of these cats who's not self-aware, but it's like Embiid made a comment last week with all his drama. He's like, I don't know why, but drama seems to follow me. Bro,
you're the problem. Yeah.
Look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about number 30. Look in the mirror.
And that's the other part of it too. If you want to be a leader, you can't
not a leader.
You gotta lead. You can't the body language thing, the tossing the ball hard so it goes out of bounds thing, that stuff is just
he's never been a leader.
I mean, that's why we were glad when Jalen Brunson was here. When Jalen Brunson got here, everything seemed to fall into place.
But Jay Ellis, hasn't it occurred to you that over the years, that's one of the things that has been lacking on our team is that we did not have a leader.
Oh yeah, that's been apparent. That's been
We
apparent
haven't had a leader in years.
until Jalen Brunson got here. That's a fact.
Right. Just be your best player does not mean he's a leader. And I'm
And
not going to go blasphemous. I'm not going to make the statement that I'm about to say, but we have not had a leader in a long, long time. And Jalen Brunson is the leader that we've been missing.
that's a fact. That's a fact. And I feel like the 76ers are going through that right now. Where like Joel Embiid is like Maxey. I realized watching the playoffs last year that Maxey is the leader, not Joel Embiid.
He is, but you know what should also let you know that he's the leader? He called Embiid out.
Oh no, yeah, no, that just solidified that he was the leader I thought he was when he called Embiid out.
It's his team.
But I saw it last year.
It's his team. It's his team. Embiid might be the
most
best
talented
player.
Mm-hmm.
He might be the best player, but that's Maxey's team because I don't think that there's anybody else that had the cachet, the gravitas, and what he's accomplished on the court to be able to call him out. Bruh, you late all the time.
Facts.
You're late all the time. How are we supposed to follow you?
Not.
He's not a leader. Embiid is not a leader.
I can tell by the way he doesn't take care of his body that he's not. But that's a whole nother story.
Hey, to your point, when the first thing that went through my mind when you said that was Shaq wasn't a leader.
Listen, we getting deep now.
Yeah. We trying to sign off, but I mean, you hit some touch points is like conversation worthy, bro.
I don't disagree with you, brother. I don't. Don't disagree.
All right, just sign off because we forgot that the chat is here. Like we just having two Knicks fans conversation.
Yeah.
1:00 in the morning for you, bro.
Yeah, but the thing about Randle is like before the trade is I'm gonna keep it 100. Before the trade happened, I do believe that it could have worked because we actually do have a solidified leader here. So I thought I thought it could work for sure, especially that span that happened, that 10-game span, the 15-game span, where we was running off teams in January. I definitely feel like it could have worked here, but like the Hartenstein thing might have been the first domino to kind of mess up it really working, like it. But yeah, that's just my thoughts really.
And if they did run it back with Julius, I wouldn't have blamed them because of what we did see. I'm just saying, I'm looking at picks for Timmy. He's a Randle fan. I am not. And I am not because of what he's able to accomplish on the basketball court. It's all up here with him. And he was not somebody that could be trusted. At the end of the day, big moment is Julius bringing the ball up and turning the ball over. How many times do you want to see the same thing over and over? I had seen enough.
Yeah, that's why we have Brunson here. I mean, that's why I was like, when Brunson was here, he was smiling. It was like
he was leading. He was leading. I'm not only am I the best player on this team, I lead by example.
Exactly.
I don't
worked out.
I'm not slapping laptops out of the hands of assistant coaches. I'm not thumbs downing the fan base. When he did this, I told you I've been watching the Knicks since 1977. You don't come back from this in New York.
I don't believe that. If we want to chip,
hang on. Even though he played better after this, long term, you just don't come back from that. And guess what? I'm right. He's gone. He's gone. You can say whatever you want, Jay Ellis. He's gone.
It doesn't. I don't think he's gone. He's not gone because he put a thumbs down.
I think
he's gone because Worldwide West had an eye for Cat when Cat was like 12.
but also, I mean, if you really believed in him that much as a player and as a person, he'd still be here.
If he was a pure shooter. If he was a headache, right? If he was a headache,
I say as a player and as a person, he would still be here. And he's not.
I feel like Cat was the guy regardless. I feel like the Knicks were going after Cat regardless. To be honest with you, the only I feel like the Knicks were looking. I feel like the Knicks were like, Jalen Brunson has this skill set where he has to be in the paint. Julius Randle, he's an okay shooter, but he's not the pure shooter that we need to expand the offense. I think and then I also feel like the Hartenstein thing sealed the deal too. Where it's like, we need a center, we need to maximize Jalen Brunson, we need shooters. What's our best trade asset right now? Julius Randle. Let's get a shooter in here. I don't think it's as simple as he put his thumbs down, so now we're trading.
No. I'm not saying it was that. It's that simple. I'm just saying I've watched a lot of athletes come in and out of this city, and when I saw that, I said it. I'm like, he's not long for this town. And for whether my reasoning was right or wrong, the result was right. He gone.
I mean, my stance will always be, he can play, he can't be number one. And the Timberwolves right now,
Agreed.
Right now, they have a rising star in Anthony Edwards, who's learning to be a leader.
Yeah.
And that's a completely different situation than Jalen Brunson, who's also learning to be a leader, but he just seems like to have a natural talent for leading.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like the recipe for success to me worked because of Jalen Brunson. If Jalen Brunson wasn't here and Julius Randle was here, I think it would have been off the rails and he would have been going sooner.
I mean that's obvious.
Like you need the Jalen Brunson buffer for Julius Randle to work.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Everybody else seems to be living in harmony, and you got this one high maintenance cat who like at the end of the day, you're good, but you're not superstar transcendent good. Well, we're gonna put up with this.
That's the at the NBA though. The NBA is there's a lot of hotheads in the NBA. Like, let's be clear. Shaq was a jerk. Jordan was a jerk. Dennis Rodman was out freaking doing coke and having sex and drugs. Like that, there was a lot of people who just did whatever the hell they want. Draymond Green has kicked more people in the balls than freaking soccer players in Spain. Like, there's people who are hotheads in the NBA who aren't even superstars, but they're starring in their role and they're still with their team. So like, it's not all about that.
You just brought up three. Like, you just brought up. Take Draymond out of it, but you just brought up three upper tier level Hall of Famers, and you're mentioning them in the same breath as Julius Randle.
Because we're talking about temperament. You're talking about temperament and talent.
You put up with
not
Shaq.
Every star. Let's be straight. Let's be real here. A lot of stars come with attitude. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Hand in hand. A lot of the stars have attitudes to the point where when a star doesn't have an attitude, there is highlighted. Steph Curry is highlighted because he's a star that no one hasn't seen before, because this man gets along with everybody. He smiles, he shimmies, but then the biggest stars were assholes.
Hey, pick for Timmy. Take it out of your mouth, bro. Take it out of your mouth. We get it. You like Julius Randle, but you can take it out of your mouth.
No, he was nah, you're not doing that. Pick's been here. Nah, screw that. Julius Randle was an all-star multiple times. And he was an asshole. And guess who Julius Randle came under? Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was also an asshole.
Okay, but he's not anywhere in Kobe Bryant's
I didn't say he was. What are we talking about? Are we talking about 10 percent? Okay, let's talk about Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was a player who was one of the best rebounders in the league, couldn't do anything else, but he was a role player. He came with antics. He came with theatrics. He came with drugs. He came with partying. But the Bulls kept him around to get championships.
And that's why. And the only problem with him was that. He wasn't an ass.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Evidently, it wasn't much of a problem to Phil Jackson.
Draymond Green is still with the Golden State Warriors. Is he more talented than Julius Randle? No,
but for
that caused more problems than Julius Randle.
And his role in that team, they got 4 rings. Like, you're comparing.
That's not the point.
But with rings, you're comparing him to people with rings.
No, I'm comparing. No, because you're asking about talent level.
No.
You're asking about talent. You're saying talent level plus temperament.
the whole picture.
You talking about temperament? You talking about temperament?
Right.
If you put Draymond Green on any other team, is he winning a ring?
Probably not.
Exactly. So like, it isn't. This is what I'm saying. It's the effectiveness.
But the fact that he has is and what he's contributed to the team is why he stays around. Julius ain't won nothing.
So what?
And I'm gonna go out on a limb. Julius won't win anything.
So most NBA players won't win anything. Most people in the NBA won't win anything.
We talk about Julius right now.
That doesn't mean anything.
We talk about Julius
didn't win anything. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. We're talking about talent and temperament.
Wasn't the best.
You're talking about talent and temperament. You talking about rings. Now you switching the conversation to rings. Before you talking about talent and temperament. That's why I say let's talk about Draymond Green. Draymond Green is not as talented a player as Julius Randle. His temperament has been way worse than Julius Randle.
But they won with him.
He's been on the same team for 10 years. So none of that stuff matters, really. It really doesn't.
And they won with him. They won with him.
Yes, they won with him.
But that makes all the difference.
No. You can't say they won with him and then say temperament matters. If your temperament is bad, you're gone. And then in the same breath say, well, they won with him, so it doesn't matter. Like, he should be gone if his temperament is that bad.
Well, they made the decision that the temperament juxtaposed with the talent was not worth it.
So then your point is mute then. That means temperament doesn't matter. That's what I'm getting at. The temperament don't matter. The temperament really doesn't matter. Because there's talented people. The NBA puts up with talented people even when their temperament is bad.
So you're trying to tell me that you don't think temperament matters at all?
No, I didn't say that. Not at all. I said temperament and talent. Like, if you're good enough, people will put up with your bullshit.
Okay, and what number team is this for Julius?
What are you talking about?
How many teams has he been on?
How many teams has Draymond Green been on?
Answer my question.
How many teams has Draymond Green been on?
I asked you a question first. You answer my question first, and then I'll answer your question. That's how communication works. How many teams has he been on now?
What? How many has he been on? 4?
Okay.
Lakers.
So who's
traded for Pelicans,
putting up with him?
Knicks.
So who's putting up with him? He's on his fourth team.
Right.
Okay. So people obviously aren't putting up with him all that long if he's on his fourth team.
But you're pretending that they're not putting up with him.
I'm not pretending anything.
No, you're framing the conversation that they're not putting up with him because of his attitude. That's what you're saying.
No. I'm saying you led the conversation because of his attitude, and
you led the conversation by saying once he put his thumbs down, he was gone. That was your whole premise for your conversation, right?
I said at the time.
Right?
I said at the time.
Pause.
Hang on.
Pause. What? That was the whole premise of the conversation. Once he put his thumbs down, it was gone. He said you don't see any player recovering from that. That's why I came back with Draymond Green has kicked multiple people in the balls.
Okay,
he's been all over the place, and he's still with the same team. So
and
at
Julius
the end of the day, it's not just your temperament. That is my point.
Julius is not because you said Draymond is still with the same team. Yes, and I said and Julius is not because when he did this, coupled with the player that he is, you ain't good enough to last that long.
If Julius Randle put his thumbs down and shot 40% from 3,
but he didn't.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking. It's not about the thumbs down. It's about the talent. Is what I'm trying to tell you. I know he didn't. That's what I'm telling you. It's about the talent. The talent, not the temperament. It's the talent. People put up with bad temperament when you have the talent.
And he doesn't have it. And that's why he's gone.
He doesn't have what?
He doesn't have enough talent to put up with his temperament, and that's why he's
gone. So now
you're
changing your argument.
It's always
you're changing your argument. Because before you said
talent.
Once he put the thumbs down, said once he put the thumb down, he was gone.
Based on who he was.
I said the Knicks were going after a guy who can shoot to give Brunson more spacing. So now you're coming over to my side. Thank you. You're proving my point.
No,
you're proving my point.
No, I'm not
You
proving your point.
you talked yourself into what I was trying to tell you the whole time.
Which was
It's the talent. If Julius Randle put his thumbs down and he shot 40% from three, it was a center, he would still be here because they'll be like, Jalen Brunson is the leader. He fits well with Jalen Brunson and he's only making $30,000 a year. He would still be here. That's my whole point.
It all depends on how his temperament and what he was doing was affecting that locker room without leaders.
But we have a leader.
Okay. We have a leader. And all I'm saying to you is at the end of the day, no matter how talented you think Julius Randle is, and no matter what you think his temperament is, whatever those two things meshed together wasn't enough to keep him here. And what I was saying, and maybe I didn't explain this well enough, the player that he was at the time that he did that thumbs down, when he did the thumbs down, I thought that was a death knell for him long-term. And like, he's not going to be on this team long-term because of that thumbs down and the player that he is. I didn't communicate that well enough, but to your point, it wasn't just the thumbs down. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me in terms of, okay, this is who this guy.
That's just say for you.
Okay, for me, and I'm saying at the end of the day, the end result was he's gone. And I knew he would be gone at some point. They weren't going to make a long-term investment into that guy with that head and the level of talent he ain't Shaq. So don't bring Shaq up. He ain't Shaq. He's not Jordan. And he's not even Rodman.
Dude, now you're going back in circles again. We already talked about this.
You brought that up.
You're going back and why did I bring that up? Why did I bring Shaq up?
Because of his talent?
Yes. I'm talking about talent combined with temperament. That's the whole argument. Talent combined with temperament. Once again, people will put up with bad temperament if you have the talent. People will put up with bad temperament once. And
I'll ask you once again, who has put up with Julius Randle long term? Nobody, because he don't have that much.
All right, we're going in circles. Salute to the chat.
Hey, you all can defend Julius all you want.
I'm not defending Julius. I'm not defending Julius. I'm defending my point in talent and temperament. I'm not defending Julius. You're mad that Julius
I'm saying
had thumbs down 2 years ago. I'm talking about the fit with the Knicks. That's what I'm talking about. You're talking about Julius. I'm talking about the fit with the Knicks.
And I said to you, based on what we saw in January, if the Knicks had decided to run it back, I couldn't have been mad at them for running it back. And it's unfortunate that he got injured because I wanted to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see that. Could we somehow come out of nowhere and win a championship with him being who he is, with all of his flaws and the talent that he does have? I felt like that was our best shot. Once he got injured, it was like,
yeah, I feel like that team with Hartenstein and Mitch, I think we would have had a shot. Like, and I feel like another year of all those guys together, we would have even been even stronger.
I agree with you, but where I'm coming from is if we didn't have that, we had that window and it closed, and it's just being a Knicks fan and
it's a what if team. It's gonna be a what if team for the rest of our life.
Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, and you know that play against Miami was it was just a freak play. But I'm saying to you, I didn't see long term it working with him because of this, not because of what he brought to the team. I just don't think that he has it up here long term, and he's showing it in Minnesota.
Yeah, listen, Picks for Timmy can attest to this, and probably Jay Cruz as well, because Jay Cruz has seen every single episode. When that happened, I was out on Julius.
When what happened?
The thumbs down stuff.
See, I was out on him before that.
Yeah, I was out on that whole season. I was like, what's happening? What's happening? And then once that happened, I was out. For sure. The only reason why I thought it could work was because we actually had a real leader here. And then I was like, you know what?
I never argued with
might
you.
have the right mix to make this work. So,
and I've never argued with you. I've never argued with you on that. I agree with you once we got a leader. But before we had that leader, when you talk about poor temperament and you talk about somebody who isn't playing defense and you talk about somebody who's firing the ball after a win, you're firing the ball down the court and storming off the court like we lost, and you got young players. It was a bad look, and he was not good for that locker room, being the best player.
right.
And if you notice, nobody called him out the way Maxey called Embiid out, because there was no budding superstar like Embiid to do that.
Right, but then
one of those players should have done that.
Right, and I was all there for all that, and I was also there last year when everything was clicking, and then you see Ian Begley talk about how good the locker room is. You know what I'm saying?
Because of Brunson and that Villanova, it's like,
exactly. So I'm like,
right,
hey,
you're going to get on board with this.
If this is the buffer we need for all this to work, and we still get to have some of that talent, but also have him calm, was wrong. That's what I.
But hang on. Let me point this out to you, because I don't want you to forget. There were moments when Brunson was on that team, and Julius had static up in Quickly's face. This was before the trade, and I'm like, yo, man, what is he doing? What is he doing?
Yeah.
It never ended with him. It was always something with him. He's just an emotionally volatile person, and you can't have your leader be that way unless you're just
right. Which is why he's
gone.
No, he wasn't the leader at the point. I mean, at that point, the leader was Jalen. At that point, it was clear Jalen Brunson is the leader.
But his behavior didn't completely change just because Brunson was there.
No, it didn't completely change. It is not going to completely change. It's always going to be there. But just like Draymond Green's behavior never completely changed. He's still kicking people in the balls and he won championships. When you have other people who can steer a ship, you can work with volatile people and have it work. But you just need you need the right people in place for that to happen.
You know what's interesting now that you brought that up, and you correct me if I'm wrong for what I'm about to say. The only person in Golden State that has ever really called Draymond out publicly is the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Curry hasn't.
That doesn't speak to what's happening behind the scenes. Happening behind the scenes.
We don't, but I'll say it again. The only person that we've seen call out Draymond publicly has not been one of his teammates. It's been the coach.
Mm-hmm.
So who's the leader in that locker room?
I mean, how many championships do they have to say that he's not a leader?
I got you. I got you. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. It's just a question. I'm curious about that.
All I have to say is they have championships, so I can't really question that.
Yeah, me too.
So right. What are we asking?
I just asked the question out of curiosity because typically the locker room polices itself. That's how locker rooms work. And I've never heard anybody call him out other than the coach. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And I'm saying, there's been plenty. There's people who are good in the locker room, bad in the locker room. There's people who work with volatile people and they've won championships. You just have to find the right mix. Like hell, sometimes you might need a volatile person to rouse shit up when things go wrong. Like sometimes you need a little bit of that sometimes, but you still have to have a system and you have to have people in place to check
structure.
That. You have to have
a culture.
Yeah, you have to have the culture to check that. So that's why I wasn't bugging. That's why I wasn't bugging after a while. I was bugging at one point, but after a while I stopped bugging because we actually have a structure.
Well, it's interesting. Did you ever see the podcast where I don't know who Theo Pinson was talking about, but they were talking about Tibbs and his rules and defense, and you don't get no minutes if you don't play defense. And then Theo says, unless you're Julius Randle, and they both started laughing. And I know it was difficult for them to be watching film and over and over and over and over again Julius is the person not playing defense and not being held accountable.
Oh
when
yeah,
it comes
that's
to
why I was out on Tibbs for years too because of
Bro,
that.
I'm right there with you. And I'm saying if you're trying to establish a culture, you have a coach who has enabled a guy to behave that way when you first got there, right? I can understand why Tibbs had an affection for Julius because the first year that Tibbs got there, I want to say that was also the first year. Didn't Julius make the All-Star team? That was the COVID year where we were playing in front of empty arenas. So Tibbs got Coach of the Year. Am I correct? Did he get coach? He got Coach of the Year the same year that Julius made the All-Star team with the Knicks, right?
Right.
But he was an enabler. He helped create that monster by allowing that behavior, not allowing Julius to be available to the media after some asinine thing that he did or said on the court. And it's like, if you're trying to build a culture, why are you building this Frankenstein while you're trying to build this culture?
Listen, you preaching to the choir, brother. I went on the putback and I talked about Tibbs and Julius' relationship, and I got shut down. But because I was criticizing Tibbs at that point.
Yeah, you were going against the company folks.
Yeah, I was like, and the funny part is I was actually pro Tibbs at the time, but I was just bringing up the time when I wasn't pro Tibbs. You know what I'm saying? I'll bring up the time that I wasn't pro Tibbs because I saw how he didn't hold Julius Randle accountable, at all. Yeah, at all. So yeah, I get it. And I got an inside source. I can't reveal who it is, but RJ could not stand Julius Randle. Yeah,
couldn't stand it.
I guess I don't know.
Regardless of how you feel, listen. Regardless of how you feel about RJ, this is a young player. Quickly's a young player. Obi's a young player, and they're watching. Like,
I feel you. I'm not even gonna deep dive into the. It's weird to. I don't know who your sources are. I don't know if they're correct or not.
No, I'm trying to tell you. As a matter of fact, RJ thought that Randle was costing him sponsorships, endorsements. That's how inside of a contact that I have. He thought that Julius was costing RJ endorsements.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or wrong, I'm just telling you how he felt. And here's the amazing thing about all those players I just mentioned. They're all gone. All of them.
Yeah, and this is gonna be the last time we talk about it. All right.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
We gonna end this. I got sleep. I got a thing to do. Thank you, Sean Shepard, for coming.
Hey, it was fun, man. It was fun. I like how you when you dig in. I'm down with it, man. And I hope we didn't lose the chat because
the chat's still here. I feel like more people came in. People like debates, so I feel like more people tuned in. I'm just tired as hell.
You deserve it. It's about to be 1:30, man. Happy Thanksgiving. This was fun, despite the fact that we lost. And let me know when you want to do it again.
All right, bet, yo. All right, man, yo. Shout out to the chat.
Salute, Timmy. Salute, Timmy.
Salute, Timmy. You're back, Timmy. I was gonna let him talk to you about that. I was gonna let him talk to you, Timmy.
Good times, bro.
Yeah, good time.